You're listening to Underestimated, the podcast that helps overwhelmed small business owners turn their size into their unfair advantage so they can grow without burning out. Now, here's your host, Shawna Suckow.
As a small business owner, have you ever felt just completely stuck, like you just can't seem to move forward? Maybe you have a big idea, or maybe you have something you know you need to be doing, but you just can't seem to motivate yourself to get through it. And you don't know why, and you don't know how. Well, I have the perfect guest for you today. Her name is Maren LaFollette, and she is a life and business coach. And she's the founder of the Clarity Buzz. And her specialty is exactly that. It's helping people get unstuck. Hi, Maren.
Hi.
Thanks for being my guest today.
Thanks for
This
having me.
is going to be fun. I've known Maren for a long time, and so we're just going to have a fun talk. So, Maren, how did you start the Clarity Buzz? Like, what prompted you to start doing this?
So, the long story short is that I, for a long time, thought that I was going to have a career in social media, specifically around makeup. And that kind of evolved into more than just makeup, it evolved into like lifestyle content. And I did run a business doing content full time. And I learned over time that I was really chasing the dollar and not the passion for creating content. And so when I decided to shut down that business because it was kind of burning me out, I was left feeling really lost and really overwhelmed with the $1 million question of what am I doing with my life? I'm 26 years old, and the thing that I thought I was going to do for the next however many years is no longer my future. And I don't know what my future is now. And I spent a lot of time reflecting on, what do I enjoy? And I tried to kind of look at the people around me and what they're doing to try to give me some answers to like what I should be doing. And that obviously did not work because that doesn't, what other people are doing has no impact on what I should be doing. And I just started to realize that, there's no way I'm the only person who's in her mid 20s feeling this way, feeling confused about what I want to be doing and how to get to where I want to be. And so that was when I decided that I wanted to help other people navigate these uncertain moments and find clarity and passion for what they want to be doing.
I remember you. This is obviously fast forward few years, and I remember you during that time, and I thought it was remarkable how, like you were able to pull yourself out of that and have that perspective, which I think a lot of people struggle with, and you were able to do that. So, I think that makes you a great coach because you've been there, but also you have that gift of okay, I pulled myself out of this. I know what worked and what didn't work. So, what were some of the things that did work? Because obviously, like looking at what other people were doing, you're like, yeah, that's not that's not right for me. So, how did that go for you?
Luckily, I have really, really intelligent grandparents
Yes,
who
you do.
sat down with me over a weekend, and it was basically like a life coaching session for a whole weekend with them. They sat me down at the table and they made me write out all of the things that I love. Could be anything. They gave me 10 minutes. I wrote down everything that I loved on a piece of paper, and then after I was done with that, we went and talked about, they used to teach a class about over StrengthsFinder. And I had done the StrengthsFinder assessment in college. And so I had my top 5 strengths. And so we pulled those out and we started to kind of look at how my passions connect to my strengths and how they can help each other or hurt each other, and sometimes both. And doing that, we were reviewing my list of passions, and kind of some of them kind of repeated themselves just in different words. And so
Mhm.
we started connecting them back to each other. So, what one connects to another one and why does it connect? And I started to realize that from that list, I was able to identify the things that I value the most in life. And that was a huge question that gave me a lot of anxiety when I would ponder on my own, what do I really value? I wasn't sure how to answer that. And I started to realize that my biggest value in my life is connection with people, with myself, with other people, my friends and family. And um, through that, I started to reflect on, how have the things I've done in my life led me to building connections, and how can that lead me down this path of connecting with more people and helping more people. And when I was younger, I actually really wanted to be a therapist when I grew up. And I didn't want to go to school for that because it was a long time that you had to go to school for that. And so I settled for finance because I also love numbers and math. And so I just started to think back to, I had this desire to be a therapist because I wanted to help people. I wanted to talk through issues with people and help them navigate those, tough times or questionable times in their life. And that was becoming more and more obvious as I was sitting here looking at this list of things that I love, my values, and my strengths. And so from there, I started to realize that I think this is really something that I could be good at, something that I would love to do for a long time.
I remember when you kind of came out of that period of struggle and you went back to the same company. And I know the first time around you were unhappy there. What changed and why did you go back? So now you're in finance, doing something you realize how much you love, but what changed?
My mindset.
Yeah.
I came back committing to actually putting an effort to trying. One of the things that I also really enjoy, that I really value, is problem solving. It's like a puzzle to me, and I love, in the moment, I don't always love being given a hard task and then finding the solution, but it's when you find the solution and it all pieces together that it's like it feels so good to have gotten there. And that's really what my entire job in finance is. And so I went into it knowing that I actually am very passionate about problem solving, and that's what this job is. And so I'm going to commit to actually trying to do my job and do it well.
And so it was you that changed,
Yeah.
not the job. Obviously, you've evolved, the job has evolved, but you also get to work with people directly. You're not just behind the scenes doing number crunching.
Right.
And so you really did discover what you love to do, and you came back as a kind of a different person.
Right. And a lot of my job, I am client facing most days. And so we also have my connection value. I get to connect with um, other people all day, every day. It might be about accounting and finance, but it's not always. Like, we do get to have some personal conversations, and I get to build relationships with people, and that's what I love. Like,
Yeah.
regardless of the main topic that we have, like, I still have the opportunity to build a relationship with somebody and build it well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it can't just be all work anymore. I love to tell small business owners the same thing is just, the relationships are so important. So let yourself come out. Don't always be like the facade of what your job is or what your business is. So you had your grandparents to help kind of hold up a mirror, but then I know you did a lot of work as well, and you continue to do that. So I love that now you're that mirror for other people. And I love also that you have decided you are not the coach for every single person in the world. You are for a more specific niche, and that is people in their 20s and 30s who want to get unstuck from something. Is there more to it than that? Like, does it get more specific than that, or does that pretty much sum it up for you?
I try to make it more specific because I some days feel like I'm a little too broad, but
I love that.
I really don't, because it always comes back to somebody has something that they want to do and they aren't doing it. And so how can I help them? And it can be such a variety of things. I've helped people start businesses. I've helped people get organized in their personal life. I've helped people change jobs in the corporate world. I've helped people with just being a better partner, just a number of things. It can be anything. You want to get from point A to point B. You either aren't doing it or you don't know how to do it,
Yeah, or both.
or both.
So, talk to me about decision making, like emotional decision making versus like value based.
I think that decision making is the biggest downfall that people experience, honestly. we're so used to making emotion based decisions. What do I want to do right now? What do I want to do later? And that is the thing that hurts us the most, because it is important to do things that you want, but it's more important to be doing the things that are right. And so, I don't want to get up and go to the gym in the morning, but I should get up and go to the gym in the morning because it's good for me. And so that's a perfect example of, it's not something that I necessarily want to be doing, but I know that it has a bigger positive impact on myself that will benefit me in the long run. And so, when you're building a business, do I necessarily want to work on this today? No, but is it going to help me move the needle in building my business? Yes. So I'm going to do that. And so making decisions that are not emotion based, that they're value based, they're purpose based, I think it's hard. It's very, very hard. But the more you practice doing that, the more you do that, is it makes your life so much more rich.
You said something interesting to me once, and I'll just paraphrase it, but it's like having the decision be perfect versus having it just be right for right now. Rephrase that. Tell me it in a smarter Marin way.
Well, I really have struggled with that for a long time. I'm so concerned with making the perfect decision. And as a result, sometimes it takes me a long time to make a decision. And with that comes, I spend so much time and energy going back and forth on this decision. It could be something so small. Do I hang out with this person tonight? Do I stay home? What is the right decision? And I spend so much time trying to figure out what that is versus what do I want to do? And it's coming back to that value-based, emotion-based decision making. Sometimes it is important to make emotion-based decisions. I don't want to spend my time and energy doing something, so I'm not going to spend my time and energy doing that. But I think that the quicker that you can make decisions, I think that, I mean, the more efficient your life becomes. It's just you spend way less energy on decisions that really don't require a lot of time and energy.
So how much of your coaching is being like an accountability partner?
A lot, a lot.
Yeah.
I think that one of the greatest things that I learned from a coach that I hired was that if you are looking at a task and you're not doing it, it's because it's too big. And so I love pushing that back onto somebody and then breaking it down. And so we break down the task into a bunch of small little tasks. And we can identify what is digestible for you between now and whatever time frame we want to assign you, 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, what of these things feel good for you to do? You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're not pushing your boundaries. Like, what can you do in the next 2 weeks that still moves the needle, that still feels good and digestible to you? And then coming back after we do those 3 to 5 things, and then, okay, what is the next step? What is the next step, and how do we break that down into littler steps so that you actually accomplish them?
I know for me, and for so many small business owners, we either are solopreneurs or we lead a team, and it's not always appropriate to have like an employee hold you accountable. And so I do so much better when I have an accountability partner or a coach or a mastermind group. Because I get stuck myself a lot, or I chase shiny objects all the time, and I'm doing the wrong things as opposed to what's going to move the needle. So I love that. Talk to me about the accountability gap. What does that mean?
So, the accountability bridges the gap between intention and execution. And motivation to me is fake news. It's bullshit, to be honest. You can feel motivated for about 5 minutes and you may not feel motivated again for 2 weeks. And
Hmm.
so again, we come back to those value-based decisions, because you aren't always going to feel motivated to do something, but you need to be doing it. And
Yeah.
so having accountability, having that external support, and it doesn't even have to be external support. If you have something to hold you accountable, it could be a habit tracker. That's something that I use in addition to, my friends and my other, my business partner. Um, Having something to hold you accountable is going to help you execute.
Exactly. And I think that's that's so much of the battle for me, and for a lot of the people who are listening too. It's many of us started a business because we didn't want to work for somebody else or with somebody else. I mean, I used to manage a whole team. Like I had a lot of employees, and I just over the years as I got older, I was like, I don't love this. And I'm a terrible manager. I'm a terrible boss. I really shouldn't be, doing this to other people. So, I find myself at my happiest is when I'm a solopreneur, but also it's the loneliest.
Yeah.
There isn't that person to, always hold me accountable. And so I have built those kind of guardrails for myself. Otherwise, I think everybody needs somebody to hold them accountable, whether it's a partner or a coach like you, mastermind group, whatever. And one of my accountability partners said, the smartest thing yesterday, which now that I'm talking to you, it really resonates to me. And she said, you are most poised to serve the person you once were. And that's exactly what you're doing. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But that I find that fascinating is you're serving people, young people who feel stuck like you used to feel stuck.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool. So, what are some of the other things that stop people from just pursuing their goals or their passions?
Well, before that, I want to go back to what you just said about you're most poised to help who you once were.
Yeah.
And I did talk a lot about that with my previous coach because we talked about why I wanted to start doing this. And I think one of the things is that, people want to be heard and validated. And as a child and as a young adult, I feel like that was something that I missed a lot. Something that I desired a lot but didn't really receive or receive in the way that I wanted to receive it. And so coaching people gives me the opportunity to hear what people are saying, hear what people desire, and validate that this is cool and exciting, and you can absolutely do this, and then helping them do that. It's kind of like helping younger Marin in a way because I get to validate and help people move forward with the things that they want to do, the things that they think are cool.
Yeah, exactly. I just like I know you don't have kids, but I've also heard it said that we become the parent that we wish we had. And
Yeah.
so it's very similar. And I think we in business, we try to create the outcome for our customers that we wish somebody had created for us. And you help them get there, which is, I think it's really cool. I think it's a gap in the coaching industry. There are a lot of coaches out there, and it can be a really crowded field, but there aren't a lot that focus on younger people and that focus on specifically helping get people get unstuck. So I love the name of your company, Clarity Buzz.
Thank
Uh,
you.
we don't have to get into that, but well, let's get into that. Why did you name it Clarity Buzz?
That's a great question. Again, with the coach that I had hired previously, we talked a lot about what do you want people to feel after working with you or during working with you? And the terms I kept using was I wanted people to feel like they were buzzing. Like I wanted it to feel, when you just have an idea and all of a sudden you're really excited to just get started and you feel like
Yeah.
you know what to do. And it's just like this intoxicating feeling inside that it's kind of like being drunk, but you're not drunk. And so
Yeah.
I wanted people to feel that. I think that once you have clarity, it allows you to kind of buzz inside. It's a very euphoric feeling. And so the clarity buzz, I wanted you to buzz from the clarity that you are receiving from working together.
Yeah. So it's okay. We can think of it kind of like like being drunk or maybe some other substance that maybe is legal in some places and not in others and whatever. But it's like a buzz that can help move you forward. And
Yeah.
it is exciting. I love that when I feel that. I just felt that the other day, and I was like, I just feel like I'm on fire, like I have clarity. So
Yeah.
it's so cool that we're talking today. So, what is one thing that you wish people would take away from our talk today?
I think that things are 100 times easier when you talk them out loud. Whether that be by yourself, if that's your jam, then do that. But you need to get out of your head. Like, it's so easy to have 1,000 thoughts in a minute, and either getting them out on paper, speaking them out loud to another person is going to help you organize those thoughts and to find out what's really important to me right now. What am I really wanting based on all of these thoughts? And from there, you can really start to identify, okay, what's the first step that I need to take? And if that feels like it's too big of a step, like I said, then we just need to make it a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
If your task is to, I need to reach out to this restaurant to do something, but you're not doing it. Okay, maybe we need to identify what is the email address that you need to reach out to first. That's your only, yeah, that's your task, is to reach out to, or find the email address that you need to email, not write the whole email. And so I think once you get all of your thoughts out, it's easier to break them down into smaller, digestible tasks. And it's so much easier when someone is listening to you and can help sort through from another perspective.
Yeah, and turn the emotional into the logical and the steps, the process, because the emotion a lot of times holds me up. And it's like,
Yeah.
ugh, it's so big, it's so overwhelming, it's just, so much. So how can people find you? How can they connect with you?
On Instagram, my Instagram is just at the Clarity Buzz. I don't have a website at the moment, but we are working on that. Otherwise, just my email, Maren.LaFollette@gmail.com. And yeah, just Instagram and Gmail.
Very cool. And one last very important question. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. But I
Yes.
do love cats too, but I love dogs more.
Yeah, yeah, that's an acceptable answer. So thank you, Maren, and everybody check out the Clarity Buzz on Instagram. Reach out to her via email or via Instagram. And especially if you are holding yourself back from who or what you could truly become, just get that accountability and reach out to her. She's amazing, as you can tell from our conversation. Thank you, Maren.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Underestimated, hosted by Shawna Suckow. To connect with Shawna, go to thebuyerinsider.com.